excuse me. Notice this meeting was given and posting, registration, posting. Notice for this meeting was simultaneously given to the president and all the council. Availability of the agenda is indicated. All proceedings hereafter will be taken. Meeting is concluded. Copy of the any person wishing to address the council, do so standing, recognized, podium, sign sign-in sheet indicated on podium, organization, interest for person. Thank you. Roll call.
Wow.
Here.
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 Here. One comment I want to appreciate each council member's efforts putting this thing together. Meaning, Julie, Kevin, Jane, often. I am fairly confident that not everybody is together. Income, city council, collectively, for the city. That, Jane, you had some comments?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna go over some of the sheets you have in front of you. The first one looks like this, if you can. Put these out of the changes to the budget, and these are changes that have taken place in these months at the first budget meeting. So right now we have as a placeholder for property tax, we increased the property tax revenue to the 50-cent levy, which is $2.3 million, and we have that increased property tax revenue. What is
Oh, that was, yeah,
the wrong account number? Too.
that's the wrong account.
What was that?
That was the contract revenue for admin.
Oh, when we got the, when we put the updated, so in the budget, we also included the updated water and sewer based on Austin's presentation of the last meeting. That all be changed, same with the, but we went with that. It was on the third page of your report last time, which increased the commercial account sewer and left the water administration for 1,000 gallons the same. So then there's revenue that goes with that into the admin based on the water and sewer revenue. And then we added bond proceeds. We had street projects in there that did not have the bond proceeds to pay for the street, the big projects of the year. And then for general fund expenses, we added a loader expense for a net change of $91,000. Removed the tennis court resurfacing for $200,000, and then added the senior center redevelopment request of $12,000. So on water, we updated the revenue, decreasing it by $80,000, and water fund expenses, we changed the expense to account for the percent that gets paid to of the water fund for administrative services. And then water, we changed for the two projects, we got that in numbers later, so that was updated. Sewer fund, we increased the revenues based on those projections we were talking about, and then the expenses.
We had a wrong number.
Okay, I'm not sure what that was.
That's the contract.
Oh, contracts, okay.
The wrong number was wrong.
Right, okay. So then the next thing is the budgeted use of cash reserves. And I've explained this to a couple of you the last week or so. But this page, you all found that page? budgeted use of cash reserve. So we have money that's been collected, it's in the city, accounts. And so we have expenses that are in the budget for this year, but there's no corresponding revenue. So what we're gonna be, we would budget to use the cash reserves for these specific accounts because the cash has already been deposited in our account. So for the tree board, they had some fundraising of $18,000 they have in their account. We have the Keno project of $530,000, and then the ACE projects of $17,000. So general fund is $565,600, and then LB 840 we have in the cash account $553,000. So the total there is the $1,118,600, and then currently, as we sit, you got to keep in mind the general fund deficit excess. That it does include the increased levy that we had talked about. That's subject to change to how you guys decide to do that tonight. So that deficit excess could increase if you lower the levy. But right now, it's $117,000 is the remaining deficit after the use of cash reserves in the general fund. That all makes sense?
Assuming a 50-cent.
That is assuming that. Assuming that, and it does not include the $2 raise for police officers that was discussed. And what is that annual? Do you remember? We talked about it earlier.
57.9.
Yeah,
And that's not in.
that's not in the budget yet.
think something that doesn't seem right to me, just off of the general projections for the sewer revenue increase with the restructuring plan. I'd estimated about 150,000 to the revenue, but we're only seeing 92.5. But then under admin fees for the general fund, we're seeing 140,000. That seems wildly inconsistent because the sewer revenue should be much greater than the admin.
Well, that total, okay, so we don't break down admin and the usage for sewer. So that's a total of both of those numbers put together.
But shouldn't that all be under the sewer funds, not the general funds? Because it should all be in the sewer.
Well, are you, I guess I'm not, we have revenue in general fund because, okay, so based on the revenue for water and sewer, there's an amount that's paid to admin. So when the revenue changed, then that changed.
Sure, and I follow that, but it should only increase by 10%.
It went to 148,550 from the 139,3 that we budgeted on the admin part.
Okay, what am I not tracking? This would be the general fund.
This is combined water and sewer.
Right.
Right.
Water went down 8,000 and sewer went up.
Is this all talking about the general fund?
Just the first up to here. That's general fund, then it starts water fund there and then sewer.
Right. And we should see the larger increase down here in the sewer fund, not in the general fund.
There was a calculation error in the general fund. Originally, on the first number that went out, we had 192,533, but it should have been 330,440. Instead of adding, it did get added correctly. The numbers that were there weren't added correctly. So the original number before we adjust water and sewer was the 330,440. And then we changed water to 170K and changed sewer admin to 148,550. So now it's 331,690.
Okay. Let me ask it this way. I projected that it would generate another 150,000 in revenues. Are the projections that far off that we're only gonna see a $92,000 increase on that restructuring?
Well. That's the came up with. I did not print that off, too.
I don't expect this to be, you know, within pennies, but certainly think would be close.
$60,000 difference there. Well, you know, 60,000.
Yeah, what I did was I put the new rates into my spreadsheet, and that's what I came up with. So I don't know, I'd have to compare the two spreadsheets to see what it is, and I could do that.
I have a question for both Jane and Kevin.
Yeah.
And even where we're adjusting our rates and the admin fee, just based on percentage of that, it goes to clerk treasurer's office. Would we need to maintain that same percentage? Is that just one revenue?
It's just, that's, I guess, for them deals, that's how it's always been, it's always been a percentage, yeah,
And
that's all up to.
That's what I'm getting to is, I anticipate we would have seen $150,000 increase in the sewer revenues, which then 10% of that would float over into the general for the admin side of it, so we should see about a $15,000 increase there.
But that other change is hard to tell.
I mean, if we're doing something that would create more work for the clerk's office, I would see more admin funds going there. But if it's not, if we're just adjusting the rates, I don't know that we necessarily need to take that.
And I think that's something that, like we talked about, going into getting this budget and then sitting down and getting into the weeds.
Yep.
So that we clean this stuff up for next year, make those adjustments on some of these other bigger project adjustments. Because that's probably something we'll have to change by ordinance on the percentage, probably, right?
That is what something that's done through the budget process.
Yeah, I don't know if we have to do by ordinance.
If we can do it by the budget process, then we can always go in and change it administratively.
I would just like to see it double check that, if possible.
Okay.
I would anticipate to see something closer to 135,000 in additional revenue to the sewer, and then about a 15,000 increase to that. Is what I would.
I think this number was really close to what was on your spreadsheet, that's why that. I don't know if our first budget number, so our first budget numbers already had a 4% increase in it.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so this is just the revised, I was pretty sure that they didn't match yours exactly, but I used from my spreadsheet because of the exact numbers that I had.
That addresses that?
Yes, okay. Thank you.
One question I have, budget use cash reserves, LB 840.
Yes.
Do we not have that already tied up?
Yes.
Well, and that's what it is, there are contracts in there, and those contracts that are, like, we have, you know, the middle school project and all of the different contracts that are out there, so there's some housing stuff. Those are budgeted to be spent, but the cash is sitting in the account. It hasn't been expended yet. So the difference between the cash that.
When we have now for what we're gonna have, when we
Right,
need to.
right.
Yeah, that number is taken out of.
If you put that 4% in there, Austin, you're at 148,000 change.
We're real close, yeah. Thank you.
Glad I thought of that. I don't know what I would have done. I just did this about an hour ago. I was like, I might have made a mistake, I'd have to look. I did. Yeah. So is that the budget use of cash reserves, is that all clear to everybody in all of this? So then, this next sheet is this little one that looks like this, it's the cash reserves. So there's some questions about what we have for cash reserves, so I have an estimated cash balance for the general fund, the water fund, and the sewer fund. You can see our sewer fund is sadly dwindling terribly. But so the second column of numbers operating budget for the upcoming year excluding capital. This is the operating part of it. And so then the next column, the average monthly expenditures, is how I needed that number to calculate the months of reserve we have in those different. So we have 7.8 months of reserve in the general fund, 26 in water, and 2 in sewer. Sewer is not even close to an acceptable number, which is why I'm glad we're talking about raising sewer rates and not the water rates. Although we can do a transfer between the two because we're both enterprise
What
funds.
did the auditor tell us?
In general fund, they say 3 to 6 months worth is what the minimum that they would recommend. 6 months is the minimum they would recommend. Now, water and sewer is different because you have to be able to, you have to take like your age of infrastructure and replacement, things that are gonna be needing replacement, the age of everything, and so you need a lot more in water and sewer.
Well, what counts to the general fund, you get usually property,
Right.
water and sewer,
There are some delinquent.
yes. Or catastrophic events. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what we have for months of reserve, the 3 main. Yeah.
Months of reserve on the sewer, maybe not sleeping.
I have not been sleeping well because of that.
Good.
But it's, you know, it's getting to the point where we probably are gonna have to do a transfer.
Is that a borrowed fund? Is that borrowed?
And since we don't have personnel in either of those categories, we could change the way we expense out to people service. That would probably be my choice for a more ideal way to do it. Is that we have a monthly bill, we pay the people service, make more of it paid out of water to give sewer a little reprieve until they catch back up. Their employees are all the same department. They look at themselves as one department. Maybe we'll do that down the road. I'm not ready to do that now, because we need to keep it a little separated, especially for federal grant purposes.
For our public hearing, can you check this with your recommendations on this?
It is 3 to 6 for general.
3 to 6 for Jim.
Yeah. You think I didn't check that today?
Well, you said that, then you said at least.
Well,
6 months
that's
minimum.
6 months minimum for all of it, but with water sewer, you have to take into your age of, you guys came up with that, that's all Marcy. The age of
6 months.
infrastructure and replacement.
A minimum 6 months.
Minimum of 6 months, yes,
You have to be greater than 6.
correct,
Or equal.
yes. Good job.
Having read the sewer analysis, 10 months on sewer. Would make sleep easy.
All right, this sounds like some action we might take in November. All right,
Okay, that's,
questions? Anyone?
Oh, very good.
Very good.
I think that, oh, I have one more, sorry. I do have a levy analysis page that just has some different levy values put in there with the current, valuation. You can see the statewide average levy is the 0.298811, which that was last year's statewide average. And that's the number you kind of gotta keep your eye on for municipal.
That's from Omaha to Orland.
Yep, it is. So then I just, the 32 cents would keep the same tax asking, so if the dollar amount remains the same of the property taxes we request. The next line that's kind of in purple or in pink for a reason, the minimum levy to avoid the joint hearing, which that's 33 cents. Keep levy at the 24-25 level is the 340497. And then I added 2 more levies in there, the 38 cents and 42 cents, just to give you an idea what it does to your net property tax, as well as the 50-cent levy. So just something to keep handy as you guys are discussing this later on, either in the meeting later today or probably later today.
So in your pie chart, Oklahoma 1, that's the school district, right?
Correct. So like if you look at the orange part along with the gray, and then Mid-Plains, that's all education. Then you have Twin Plat, NRD, I separated the city out there, and then the county is obviously attached to it.
So
Just
we
to-
get
just to get-
percentage of the pie.
We generally, yeah, but we have a lot of services to offer,
Correct.
you know.
How did the Ag Society get them to levy?
They're taxing entities. Just like our community redevelopment authority can have a vote, they have to request it from the county.
Okay.
Just like we could separate, we could make a airport authority and then they could have their own
No levy?
no levy separate from the city.
But it still falls within our maximum.
It does, it would fall within the 50, well, 45 plus 5 that the city,
So just add it to the county side, okay. Perfect.
right,
Okay.
uh-huh.
Yep.
That clear?
Our max is 50
Yes.
Yes,
in the county.
I don't know what the county
Okay.
max is. It's higher, I believe.
I don't know.
For some reason, I thought they were,
How about Chief, you know what that maximum?
I-
I do now.
for some reason, I thought they were significantly higher than us, but I don't know why I thought that. What is it? 70?
Don't quote me on that.
And the school is higher than everybody.
CTS. The school is.
What? They don't have them.
I would say it's not a terribly important question, I was just interested. So this pie chart is where our money's going.
Somebody within the corporate limits, that's where the percentages that their taxes go to. Just so you can see what portion the city is with the whole tax levy.
What's the maximum property tax levy for Nebraska County?
And that's a good point, and this is just if you live in the corporate limits, this.
50 cents.
They're 50 cents too. And the only reason we can go to 50 is it's like 45 cents. 45 is the municipal levy, and it's 45 plus 5 cents for interlocal. So if you spend 5 cents of your property tax asking on an interlocal agreement, like for us, we have the ambulance, we have the EOC, we hit that easily to have that extra 5 cents.
We have these stations, 45 cents per 100.
The only other question I had was on the general fund expense, I see the senior center request in here,
Yes.
where they did not make the, deadline fee within the budget.
I believe
They-
they brought that yesterday.
You have a copy of it.
Oh, yeah.
But they were notified on the date for the budget, like everybody else.
Everyone was sent along.
And we have removed others for not making it on time.
Yep.
It's a requirement. So we have a date.
There were a few different rates up in here.
I don't know who they do. Aren't they all date stamped?
Keep County Beautiful.
Yeah.
They were late their date.
Or-
Well, and, hey, here's my thoughts about the senior center. I mean, it's Heath County Senior Center. I pay county tax. Would that allow me to go use the senior center? But should the city have to pay additional funds?
Go eat there anytime you want, so, yeah, I'm 50 a plate.
So.
Ed can eat there, he doesn't even live there.
Food does look pretty good. I mean,
I heard, yeah, I heard food.
What was our date, what was the date requested to have everything in the,
The fourth.
I thought it was June 1st.
June 1st. He's
Oh,
talking about the
oh.
community development request. He's moved on to when he gets the budget.
I was looking,
Yeah.
because, I mean, we had a hard stop last year on that too, and if they didn't, we just cut it, so, because they're required, they get plenty of notice to have their ducks in a row.
They do.
To have stuff in,
And we don't know a phone call and all that.
I mean, we don't babysit.
We don't get it, we don't get it. We don't chase them.
Back in the old days, we used to put an ad in the paper.
We did. That's all they got.
Yeah.
Well.
I mean, there's plenty of time, and for them to be late, especially when asking for funding, kind of throws the whole process into chaos.
Well, if everyone is late like that, I think, before the end of our budget hearing, we should probably just go through our community development request again and make sure everybody's on the same page, prove it.
June first was the cutoff date.
For sure.
Yeah, June first.
Either June first or July first, I don't
No,
know.
it was June first. Cause I kept pumping that date at the chamber. I think it was June first.
But that's all.
My memory. And a little late is one thing. Yesterday, in fairness, they're in transition. Yeah.
February, man, I'm really on.
It's how long from the date we notified them? What did it give them, 30 days, 60 days, how was that? You have to remember, just a general ballpark this way.
I think I sent the letters out on January 30th of 25, and double check the deadline here, in yellow, bold, and underlined it, that June 1st is the deadline.
So 6 months.
Technically five.
Oh, 5, yeah.
But
Right,
still.
that's a long time to get your ducks in a row.
Well, Mayo got the contract back to get their money, so they got the letter.
Let's do it.
Dell just called me, he's running about.
So,
Okay, well,
yeah, let's do the interlocal. For the ambulance.
and 36, and Dave said it's the 7th. Because we have Dell and Will. Oh, I told you.
This is the first year with budget on the. They just really forget.
We budgeted last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't do a full fight last
Yeah.
year.
October 23 is starting. October of 23.
Seems like it was just last year.
We've gone through several quarter reconciliations.
It wasn't in color last.
Year before was, we had some stuff, but it was like guesstimate, sketchy, a lot of guesstimate.
They did them through this, and everything went on.
I think you'll notice several of them have gone up, some of them considerably, but we already know that, Mac one, which is the, four-wheel drive diesel, needs, a shows $18,000 in repairs. That actually came up shortly after we entered the current budget year. And we were able to put it off, but having a four-wheel drive ambulance is just kind of a necessity. Another one. There's money in there for possible engine replacement in Mac 2. I don't really like budgeting for possibilities, but if something happens to it, we're, behind that much then. Operating supplies went up, I think, $12,000. We are replacing all stair chairs that are used in all the ambulances to get people from second stories or basements. One of them, because not all of our crews, can run the actually electronic, so it will do the climbing for you.
And it'll handle pretty heavy weight participants. That's really one of the things is driving the ability to accommodate certain weight capacity.
We don't have anything in there.
No, because we're counting on that to be the hospital authority that builds that.
If you pull over general property tax, sales tax, that leaves us what short about 237,000, give or take. Get that back in.
So how that works with the divided taxes like that, once you guys decide total what's in the budget, those get divided based on part.
So if I just keep it average, kind of based on what we've done the past couple of years, it'll give me
It should be.
approximate to pretty close. Dave, on the four-wheel drive, in town, where would that be used? Like in what situations would a four-wheel drive be used in Ogallala city limits?
Portably what?
The four-wheel drive, the diesel.
Oh, in city limits? I mean,
What situations would that be used for versus?
No. I mean, there would be, obviously the majority of it would be out of the county, out of the lake, things like that, but you've always got weather to consider.
And that's the only one we have as four-wheel drive?
Yeah, all the other ones are all-wheel drive, which, do okay, but they're also very low city V.
And do we leave those then in-house during bad weather and just take a four-wheel drive?
Depends on how many calls we get.
Right.
Did you have questions related to the? Hearing agreements or
Yeah.
the support.
What's going on with the other counties or communities now? Who do we have agreements with? How's that?
We have tiering agreements with, Harper County, Perkins County, Dual County, and I think Grant County even. And then we have, those are just the tiering agreements that they call us to, go and take over. We have, the agreements with, Big Springs, their fire district, that we basically are the ambulance for them. They will respond, and we respond at the same time, and they can call us off. We have the agreement with the Village of Brule and Rural Fire to handle all of their calls, because both those communities at one time, in fact, Big Springs still does have an ambulance service. Rural, ran out of EMTs, and their ambulance is quite old, so that's kind of why we're taken over the.
Tell me on this Tyrion agreement, do they pay an annual fee or is it just when we're?
With being Perkins County and Arthur County and Dual County and Grant County all have their own ambulance service. Paxton, we also have a tiering agreement with them too, because they're BLS, basic life support, we're ALS, advanced life support. There are some things they can't do. A lot of times for Paxton, the people want to go to North Platte, so that's who they tier with, but we have tiered with them before. They will call for us, we will go and meet them. One of our, paramedics will get on the ambulance and, go either to Ogallala, wherever they're going to end up. And then for that, each one of those, the agreement is $400. Probably not, but it's also kind of to the point where you can only, it was hard with all of them to go from 3 to 4, which we just did this last year. So
Is it costing us money? Would we be better off? But financially, setting aside goodwill and we love each other, don't want anybody to die.
probably takes anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. Figuring wages, the use of the ambulance and stuff, it's probably, I would say, fairly close.
So would we see a reduction in overtime in payroll, those expenses, if we didn't have these?
What we do now is if it goes the EMTs and paramedics that are working go. And, we've kind of gone from, having somebody being on call to just having, somebody monitors, at no pay. And then if a call comes out, so far it's worked pretty well that, people have been stepping up to actually cover the 911 calls here. Whether or not it's gonna, we're still in the process. It's been early enough, that we started doing this, I believe, at the end of March. So we're looking at it to reduce overtime. But I don't have anything to support that right now.
Are these, touring agreements and these other interlocals, do they have an expiration date?
They're year to year.
So we can't, we're into it now, we can't terminate.
Which I think they all come due roughly in October.
And you just did this increase of 300 to 400, roughly when?
When we signed the ones up last year.
So they saw a 33% increase on that, and we're seeing a 313% increase. We're asking our taxpayers for an additional 313%. On the budget from 252,000 to over $1 million.
My budget's not $1 million. That's the entire fire department and the. What was mine, 252, something like that?
Is that all built into the ambulance?
Ambulance, those are all in these numbers.
It's not fire department, but ambulance is between the volunteer department and the local. So if you look, the red numbers are, you're looking at.
Which is,
Oh,
Wow, you threw me there for a minute.
that's our overall.
700,000.
What's that?
700,000 is what we paid to the county, which is. But yeah, I didn't add up the 35s versus 36.
Is the 700,000, when this first started 2 years ago, did we,
Go ahead.
the 700,000, when we first, did this 2 years ago, did we pay 700,000 to the county last year? Because, under the 24-25 budget, under contract agreement, we're showing 73,968 compared to.
That's what we budgeted. But to date,
Because we didn't know.
Yeah, cause there's a column that says July 24, 25. So that 761, 154 is what we spent through July of 25 in that line item.
I think, you know, these tiering agreements is, these almost need a serious look because you know, providing service outside of the county. I think we're providing it at a very attractive rate. Hell, if some other county could provide that to us, I mean, we'd sign up in a heartbeat, you know, on a tiering agreement. You know,
So I did a spreadsheet for, the county fiscal year because, you know, it's over. And, we took in, the revenue combined was, July 1st of 24 to June 30th of 25 was $639,678. The total expenses is 1.2 million. So the deficit we ran last year was roughly $582,000. You break that up, it's 291,000 for the city and 291,000 for the county. That was used with tax dollars that we used.
And as we've talked before, this is never gonna be a revenue
Right.
situation. It's always gonna cost, it's just a matter of time.
It's,
Highly
yeah,
effective.
you know, I mean, it's a service, not a business. Yeah. I know I've, you know, not what you wanna hear, but
well, it is. I mean, it's a must have, I think, for the city of Ogallala and Keith County, but I don't know that, that we need to, how far out do we need to go?
hey, do you know how much we took in this year? I don't think it's a full one.
Like $5,000 and.
I think that's what we were,
Bring.
well, I don't think we took in,
Is really, you figure wear and tear on machines plus hourly rate plus services rendered.
But if you count the contracted to
contractor, you know, the contract.
24, 25, we've taken in 67,000.
You know, just for the tiering. Okay, because, you know, the $35,000 that we do for Big Spring is, you know, for the town of Big Spring, but there's also a big part of the Big Springs Fire District in Peak County. So, you know, we do that as well.
I know Kevin Reese has been a proponent of combining like fire districts somehow.
That's a Dell question.
Yeah. David, I mean, if this is a question, if you had to cut anything, anything out of this, I mean, where would you go? The easiest thing to either reduce expense or increase revenue.
You know, the revenue has steadily climbed, but, you know, I know you can't count for that. You know, since we changed to one billing solution, things have really improved.
Have we given more consideration to that? So that's a $2,000 spend. Pardon? For one I'm going if I'm reaching 15%.
Oh, yeah, Jordan has talked about it, he's, you know, his, I can't think of what his dad's name is, and I don't know, you know, if that's what- Randy, if we wanna start, you know, looking that way, he said it's something his father's interested in, I don't know what the percentage and stuff would be. I know, you know, time-wise, I don't know how much time it would take, but yeah, that is a big chunk of money. You know, I can talk to Jordan and, you know, see what we can come up with.
Now, based on the initial agreements, I can remember quite well. So county continues to pay salary, we own the equipment. Is there supposed to be a time that switches over, or
License.
everything moves over to the county?
The license.
We just relicensed with the city earlier this year. Yeah, not too long.
So I think we maintain the equipment, our expense for it, and at the end of the year, we reconcile.
Every quarter we.
Correct.
Yeah.
Very short.
So we have agreements, you know, with $1,000 for tiering that does not include the lump sum large cities or districts.
Maybe that's one of those things that we looked at. Does the license need to belong to the county, keep it in the city? Does it relate to maybe a countywide emergency district,
Well,
or
I've
first responder district?
heard that too, that there may be, an initiative to take it to a vote for its own taxing entity.
That got mentioned to me before when I got called in from, you know, to the commissioners to talk about it, it was never brought up, so, I mean, it's always a option.
For conversation in November.
That's why, you know, I want to start in November.
Yes.
You know, that is years.
I won't be around.
I don't have any other questions, Dave. Appreciate what you do, Dave. We're still studying, praying for asking this, so.
I mean, and I wanna thank, you know, you guys for the commitment. I mean, you guys and the county commissioners, because you're seeing other entities that are trying to do this fall by the wayside left and right.
Yeah, we were supposed to be looking for what the great things are doing in Cheyenne and Morrow County, and those didn't survive.
Yeah, we were on I listened in, we were on a, video chat with Morrow County, Bridgeport's, mayor, city, what administrator, for a couple hours last week, because they wanna see how, you know, it was done here, so.
Tell them to get back to us in a couple of years.
I mean, it's gonna, I just see it as working towards, so.
I agree. The governor's definitely one of our situation too.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. You're up, chief.
Afternoon, everyone. Okay, might wait, now we had a parent person on the interstate that decided they need to crash a car.
We're fine, you
145 mile an hour.
Oh,
Heard that, I was like, what? That's what I heard too.
Yes. Thanks, Chief.
What do you wanna highlight, Bill? Talk about the aerial. What happened, where we're at?
Well, right now, the aerial is still in Gosford, getting
more repairs. Annually, there's an inspection that's done, for insurance company and all that, since it's a specialized, apparatus. So they found a few things, we got the punch list, they got it in Gothenburg to start on the punch list, and then they started uncovering gremlins on 23, 24-year-old apparatus. So we're still, we still don't have it back in the fleet. The report that I got from the, lead mechanic down there was they were waiting on some computer modules, that lock from the base up to the bucket. Once they get those interfaces in there and get everything working, hopefully we'll get it back to service. Let's see, I believe it was around 36,000 we budgeted for, repairs on that. They haven't given me a final bill on that, so, I know those computer modules, just one of those is 10 grand by itself. So, when we were in the initial budget, we talked about maybe the ladder truck just having its own line item. But right now, I think we're still doing just on maintenance. That's where we're at with that. Now, we can, once we get those repairs done, we should have a serviceable apparatus, but again, it is a specialized apparatus. So the repairs and maintenance are going to be more expensive on that apparatus. With the potential that overall that it's seen, we geared up, we purchased this truck for that purpose. Didn't quite know that there was gonna be this many repairs. Get it up and operational and, say it lasts another 5, 6 years and then we start looking down for replacement apparatus at that point.
Did you say 35,000 or 3 to 5?
I thought we said 35,000 what we had budgeted on.
We did not.
Okay,
We budgeted 5.
okay. And I misread my, well, I would say we're probably going to exceed $5,000. Like I said, with one computer module, we'll take that. It goes probably. Now, I don't know if they're gonna have to replace those. That's what's that. That's just what they're telling.
Is the aerial truck and the ladder truck the same thing?
Yes, okay. The vehicle designator is 50.
When we pull this equipment out, fire, are we sending an invoice to the insurance company?
There was discussion about, submitting the information back to the clerk so they can submit bill to those people. Since we had that conversation, we haven't had a whole lot right here in town, but fortunately, people have the email. So that is one option as far as, recovering some of the past costs. People do pay taxes for their fire protection, so I think, we need to let people know that we're going to be doing that if we're going to do it.
We already have a policy in place.
We have it in case.
I don't know, a couple of these, so forth. That would be one thing that we might want to get ahead of it from the start.
Well, I think that's what they're paying insurance for also. Let me ask you about our, air pads. We're replacing, 18 new ones, replacing 18?
Yep.
Or 18 all bad?
Yep.
We don't have any air pads.
And we have air packs that, are not serviceable by the manufacturer. So as we lose parts or we lose functionality, we have no way to repair it. For the last 2 years, we haven't been able to fit test our people as we're required to. because the manufacturer won't support that aircraft. So we've just been getting by.
So, I mean, every person has their own individual air pack in.
Nope, there's 18 packs, 19 actually. Those are positions on the truck. So one truck has 6, one has 5. It adds up.
Will these new air packs be compatible with the other fire departments in the county?
These, will, they're the MSAG ones, Rule just bought this particular air pack, so it's the same air pack. Paxton runs MSA now, they're the older version. Keystone Memorial, just got authorization from the court to start purchasing air packs. This is the air pack, it's MSAG ones. So they will,
So is there any discount available if we all pool together, purchase them all at the same time?
I asked about that too, and, no, their price is, they run about 9,500 per with the fair bond and everything, and that's the deal they get. So we looked at other manufacturers, everybody's right in the same ballpark, 9 to 10 grand for air. It says fire department on it, so it's gonna be expensive.
Is there any way we could pick up half this year and half next year? Or is it best to just get them all at the same time?
Well, we tried that, with the previous air packs that we purchased, we did like 6 a year. Problem we ran into is we had the old version on, one truck, and we had the new version on another truck, and then people were getting confused on which air pack they were putting. So, that's a safety issue. I would rather not go through that, purpose again, so if there's any way possible that we can, just make that push and do everything, that would be more beneficial for our response.
Seems like a good reason.
Do you have anything else you wanted to bring up? Or
No, honestly, I didn't, with the air pack issue that we got, we're trying to take really good care of the apparatus that we have, so we don't have any, capital purchases that are, gonna be expected, but we'll say in the next couple. Figure out what the ladder truck is gonna be as far as, getting those repairs and everything done. This air pack thing is really the major issue that I.
What's the theoretical lifespan of the new air packs?
About 20 years. 15 is basically what the NFPA says is the lifespan. Typically, we can stretch that out. The last Draegers that we have are all about that 20-year-old. And, looking at all the manufacturers, that's what they're 15 is the magic number. We can stretch it.
You're not looking at any bumper gear this year?
What's that?
Any bumper gear?
Yep, I got 3 sets in the budget there. And again, we used to get 5 sets. We don't have the responder numbers. We don't have a lot of people, just coming knocking on the door to volunteer. We dropped that to 4 due to budgetary reasons. Now, the price of the gear has actually gone up, so rather than saying, I need more money for gear, we're just doing 3 sets of gear. So at least they're still on a rotation program, and we're accounting for the new members and everything that are coming on before we have. So 3 sets of gear is sufficient.
what is membership right now?
We're at 20 each.
You guys have a cadet program?
I'm sorry?
A cadet program?
We do have the cadet program. We're running kind of in partnership with the Keystone Marine Department under, so the insurance is actually under the road board. We've got, let's see, 2, we had 3, and, one of those, decided it wasn't for them, but we still got 2. Caprice, Sanders and, Hunter Glasper. And many of you know Hunter, he's actually, he's a good kid, he really is.
Of the two cadets on the program, do they have previous ties to the fire department? Father on the fire department, father.
Neither one of them. They heard about the program, got interested in it, came down, asked some questions, did a tour, and, they joined that. Caprice actually is a full member now. She reached 19 years of age, and so she was able to become a full Hunter, still under. He's been putting her down at the school and stuff for us. The recruitment and retention committee's actually got some plans to work with some fire prevention, with like the senior center. But there's a demographic of people that we're not getting. So we're gonna go to the senior center and, work with those folks. And then we're gonna try and get into the high school and work with those students as well.
I'd love to, I'd love to see the old school water fight come back with the barrel on the zip line and get the high school kids down there. Maybe they, find it intriguing and wanna join the cadet program.
We did that tonight, just don't find out. Yeah, it wasn't a kid.
He just got a bucket.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we had a smaller version of that, council, but, when we, the guys have some plans for like the Big Mac Expo that they have out here in the home show. They've got some things that they'd like to do with that. I don't know if the weather's gonna be conducive for barrel fights or not, but, we'll definitely take that under advisement.
Probably do an ice rink in February.
Yes, sir, we could.
Thank you.
Any other questions for, Chief Zimmer?
Appreciate what you do, chief.
I appreciate all the support, department, appreciate your support. Try to keep this community safe and continue to bring it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Back on their original schedule.
All right, people service.
Good evening. What are we all doing tonight?
We're living somebody's dream.
That's what I always say, somebody's dream. So, big ticket items, I suppose, you wanna start, or you guys have
Yeah.
additional questions, or?
Let's start with the skaters, Mike.
Okay.
What you can hit both departments at once, then get into, those are some, we budgeted last year, we got a surprise, we budgeted like 60,000, and found out we were way. And then to find out we need, 2 of them.
Yes, well, it's kind of, yeah, there is a SCADA system at the wastewater plant, there is a SCADA in the water system. So there are technically 2 separate, SCADA systems. Our plan is to bring them into one, so we can see everything from just one program, if you will. The water obviously is much more expensive than the wastewater because we are looking at all the wells, the booster stations, the ERV station, the towers. So there's a lot more components compared to the wastewater plant where it's all in one fence. And we're monitoring a lot less on the wastewater side than we are on the water side. Your current system has been quote unquote 7 times on top of it, and the technology is just kind of falling off the end, and they're kind of piecing something in. So what we came in and got the budget for is we're replacing everything with current technology, so you're ready for the next 1 year. That's easily said, because computers, when you buy your computer, the next day something better comes along. But in today's standards, we are trying to get everything up to their SCADA system has failed in the last 2 weeks alone, twice. Yes, and so when this happens, obviously, then, it could interrupt service to the public depending on how bad that failure is. We had to ship a part here because one of those components failed, which again is, no matter where you go, you're gonna have that issue, but that component was very outdated. The proposal and the ask is to replace everything with new current technology that'll enable us to be able to, manage this much better and also have the service to where they can log in and they can deal with things without having to come here. And those are the big ticket items on the water and the sewer side.
How much are those?
I'm sorry,
How much are those?
approximately 225 for water and 125 for, sewer.
As I have been told, when we purchased our SCADA years ago, we got an out-of-date. We got an out-of-date model when we bought it.
Well, yeah, I mean, because obviously when people go shopping for this kind of stuff, you know, and then their budget is an issue, then they're gonna give you what you can afford, basically. And they're gonna give you the lowest, the most out of date because they're trying to get rid of that so that this cost is less on that compared to buying the most up-to-date technology. So yes. And then also don't forget that I said before that it's been upgraded, and that's just when they come in and they lay a program on top of a program. So when that program fails, there's a lot more technology involved because you're running one program on top of another. It's kind of hard to explain when you get into the computer part because I'm not a computer. Yeah, I'm not a computer guy anyway. I can go to Amazon, but you know. So when you put a program on top of a program, it becomes much more difficult when something does go bad to troubleshoot it because you don't know which one's failing. Is another way to put that. And what we're proposing from the three companies that we got our proposed from is to integrate the water and the sewer, number one, so that we don't have to go to two different places to see them. All the operators can see everything. Number one. Number two is to replace everything with the current technology so that we're not dealing with these outdated parts that pretty soon we're going to be shopping for on eBay because they're not going to be available. And as he alluded to, that the failures that we have had in the last few weeks are they were serious, where we had to call them, they had to get parts, we had to do all of that. So with the new technology, those parts are more available than what we're currently doing with them. It is a big ask, I do understand that, but we're trying to bring you up so you're not piecing this, that we're not nickel and diming us to death for the next couple of years. I'm trying to make what we have work.
There's no software subscriptions on this. We own the hardware and the software.
Correct.
What's the timeline for implementation once it's purchased?
We go through this, then we go through the bidding process, and then we do all of that. Once we pull the trigger, I would imagine 60 to 90 days to get all the parts, to get everything together, because they got to order everything, right? And then within 2 weeks of being here, they would have everything installed. Okay. Now, once again, that's an estimate depending on availability, because we know how things are today when messing with computer parts, but.
So conservative estimate, give or take 4 months.
Yeah.
What's the expected lifespan of the system?
Technology is a funny thing. It's hard to do that, but I would say with the programs that they're providing to us with the technology where it is today, 10 to 15 years before, that's without upgrades, right? Because everything comes with upgrades. When you get a computer every single day, you get something about upgrades. But as far as the actual hardware, I would say that.
And that number also includes training.
Yes, yes, it does. And that also includes remote access, so we'll have the apps, we'll have the software to be able to log in remotely and also handle things that way too. So if we're at the booster station and we're trying to turn a well on, we don't have to send somebody over to do that. We can put right on the phone. It makes things much more efficient. So when we're, because our end game is not to have the public, out of service, right? We don't want them to run out or run more of, depending on which side you're talking about. That's our main goal, is to, so that they don't know that there's an interruption.
You push down 15 years, on that you're looking at about 15,000 a year. So, especially for being able to make sure nothing happens.
And we have reserves.
Yep.
It's cheap, actually.
Gene, how do you count for that then, where we would use reserves? I mean, does that come in as revenue somewhere?
Nope,
Just,
it does not come out of the revenue.
What about those fire hydrants?
There are 8 of them that need to be replaced currently. Those do not have valves on them either, so that cost also includes putting valves on the hydrants. So that we're able to isolate that hydrant when we have to work on it. So that's why that's a little bit more, is because that all is included in that. That's a low number for as many as you have, really.
12 point maybe, right?
What's that?
12 point maybe. Replace.
I thought it was for
It was the last year.
The capital request, I think, says 12.
oh, okay, I'm sorry. I read the wrong
But it's
one.
8, like where we put.
Yeah,
That's
I apologize for that.
Yeah.
Mike, then you do have a program on, putting in main shut-offs in areas where we can shut off the
Yes.
zones and
Yes,
continue to do that, so we don't have to shut. down.
yes, and that's budgeted too, I believe, and I believe that's what we're talking about, maybe like 4th Street to 8th Street and all that, or the shut-offs and stuff.
Well, originally, we purchased the key valve to do what you're talking about, have valves in the system. And, because of the staffing issues, we've lost the ability to do it. We don't have enough staff to maintain the system, work on the system, and have the valve. So,
So we're not gonna do it?
well, if we do it, it'll have to be contracted out.
And that's included in this price?
I think the price in that includes some valves installed. I know, big one that I've been wanting to do, I don't know if any of you guys remember, a few years back, we had a main break right along the river. Main out there is approximately 12 feet in sugar sand. And so we ended up having from McDonald's all the way to Quality Lock. And I really would like to get a big one in there. It's a 12-incher. And so if we have something like that happen, we're not taking down 2 motels, a truck stop, actually two truck stops. But that's one of my goals, is to get one of them for that different.
Gotta keep it running.
Yeah, and then the other one are the meters, of course, because we're still on the meter replacement plan, plus having meters in stock to sell to the new homeowner. But that money comes back when you do sell them, though.
Our water well, they variable drive.
Yes.
controlled through the SCADA?
Yes.
Not the sewer systems. Highlights.
UV system, obviously, is in there.
Yep.
To get that, up to 100%. And that includes training, that also includes, parts and labor. So we can get them trained on how to operate this properly, from current staff. With the technology that is currently there.
We have an old UV system there already. That would,
This is the same one.
the same.
Yes.
And what's our forecast on our, sorry.
They told us last report from JEO, and touches base with them says October. And you know, I always got $11 million in there, Mike. I don't see us doing $11 million of work in 1 year. How much of that? And I mean, it's a $30 million engineering analysis.
Right.
We've kind of willed it down to what we think we need this year. The 11 million is what we're probably, I think that's our SRF request.
Yes, for the big projects, yes. And I hear the same thing. They say October, but it's politics. That's what it is. You know, and we are maintaining it. We're doing some smaller projects, some valving and things like that need to be done in order for us to operate that properly. But the big ticket items, we are obviously waiting for that. Drinking filters,
And
stuff
a
like
lot of the work that we are doing is not totally wasted.
that. No, not at all.
It just doesn't, you just don't get the potential benefit of any forgiveness off the SRF, which is why we're.
Correct. And so we're just trying to get done what we have to get done, hoping that we get the big one and we can get that one done.
And you had to drain it, that for the other.
Yes, I was gonna get into that at the, council meeting, but yes, we did have some issues there and, starting to get them, resolved. Wastewater is a very slow thing.
So again, that's the big capital request is the SCADA, which does not fall under the engineering analysis.
No, it does not. No.
It's not part of the engineering analysis.
You have to use the engineering analysis to apply for the SRF, and it's not in that part. Yeah, I think we're too far down the lane for that.
We've got some stuff in there that wasn't part of the original consent order. We expanded that analysis because I wanted to include the sewer shed. So there may be some things in the sewer shed that we need, especially as it relates to the lift station.
Right. Yeah, and the SCADA system is operable. Right, and the SCADA system is not any part of the non-compliance, which is where this all started, right? So, you know, we just had more and more failures closer together, and it's, you know, and I don't know what the bill's gonna be for these last two that just came through, because we had to have them log in, we had to have them fix every ship parts, and you get charged every time for that with the particular company that you're with now.
There are some things that within that, it's a relationship with someone who has experience in other mechanical plants that we are evaluating. We really need a dewatering system. And that's how we kind of cut it.
Yep.
Initial demand.
Ken, have any other questions? Don, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
About an hour break.
I think our restructuring on water and sewer is coming at a good time for things like gate upgrade.
All right, administration.
In terms of just out of the ordinary fences, a new flag pole. I think the laser fish will make us more efficient. We kind of need that too for record keeping computers to get us in some of the technology upgrades we've been talking about for a while. League dues went up a bit.
Let's do that. We had a question on council land costs. I think with this year's budget, we could probably push that out.
Under miscellaneous service, what is personnel annual revision, $7,500?
That is a company we've been talking to, actually, they'll come in, they'll meet with our employee advisory group and update our personal manual to terribly update.
Seems high. Maybe, maybe not.
It's a quote.
Yeah, that's a quote we got. It's from a company that is housed out of the NACO building. They approached us at a conference, actually.
And that may be one of those, Boston, if you're looking at some of the performance measures and things that are in policy, you do want to address that prior to the revision.
The midwinter conference, we have budgeted for 6 people to attend. Is that a requirement, or would there be any issues with cutting them in half?
That's in case the council wants to go.
I don't. I've been to more. I took my boots off. I think I've been to, so.
We actually usually just budget for it and then the council chooses to go to the budget. Typically, maybe one, maybe goes with us, if possible. That's one of the budget items.
You did.
That's one of those budget
Awesome.
items.
That would be a good training thing to do, but, okay.
It's a really good conference for new council to learn about.
This,
Midwinter is for the new council.
yeah, that one, that's the one I would suggest you go to.
Big winner for new council members, you'll get all the new people.
But that, I'm not gonna go ahead.
Nope,
Anybody else needs silver
On
spoon
our-
besides me?
Oh, yeah.
On our-
I knew you did.
on our personnel, manual revision is, that's something that we want to get through our November discussion, and then if we do,
I think there's some things I want to talk about in terms of, first responder parity, the police has its own manual, we have manual. The policy needs to be updated. I don't know, I think I'm often asked a valid question. $7,500 for our 100-page manual, is that reasonable?
You need a fork for me?
Maybe I should catch up. I mean, maybe we'll budget it, but talk about it in November.
No, thanks.
Gave you that. I got mustard too, if anybody needs.
Kevin, for reference,
Napkin?
for reference in 2023, the grant, I think, like 27 pages. Included our lifeguards and portal and all that too, but we don't have now. Ours was 87.
87?
For a 123 page document.
$8,700.
$8,700. And it wasn't the same bid.
Thank you for that.
That was 2023.
Wow,
So
I appreciate that.
what they bring to the table is the HR experience, the current law on all of your state statutes that have been passed recently, application laws. I can show it. It was well worth it. Well worth it. I think we could probably, I mean, if we're looking for things trim, we might be able to trim, our conference that's in half and, maybe hold off on our personnel manual position. Little whittle. Anything else in your ad making?
I mean, flagpole.
Anything just the mid-winter cutting or the whole thing?
Is it a flagpole right out here? Yeah. What's the cost of that, 18,000?
Five.
Five.
I remember when a guy came in and painted that thing. And
I used to have paint on it.
he had it rigged up like on a rope. He'd climb up it and sand it. As it was going up, pull up a bucket of paint, paint it on.
I'll see you in an hour and smell that food's making.
Yeah. So,
It could be one that you take flagpole down one day and just get them set inside the doors. From a lot of places that started moving into, you don't have the weathering.
if it's just something like painting or whatever, I mean, gosh, we have,
Aerial truck.
yeah.
But, pretty, county take off.
I know.
We used to pull that personnel manual out of the budget.
I think that was the idea.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Glad you got that.
You know what? I do.
Well, we can finalize, discuss it, then we'll put in the next budget, because I do agree that, the budget talk right before budget due, we probably need to get more proactive. And start reviewing all this stuff way ahead.
Austin, thank you for supper.
Yes, thank you, that's very well.
Jay, you want to touch on the marketplace?
The laser bid? Yeah, that's a program that we will be able to scan all of our permanent records, the minutes, the ordinances, and then they'll be searchable. So there's been several times in the last several months. I've spent a lot of time researching something where I was like, if we had this all scanned, I would have been able just to find it. What was something you were looking at?
You sent it to me, and I don't remember now.
But when I was looking for the document for the
Housing.
for the housing authority for the middle school project, I probably spent well over an entire day scouring through old minutes, looking for what happened back, how the housing authority was created. It took a long time.
It was someone wanting to know how much cemetery lots were.
Oh, yeah.
Many, many years ago. I don't even remember what the year was, but I was like,
I'm not sure that would have even been.
It's gonna take a lot of time.
Wasn't that my wife that asked you about that?
Yep. So Lori and I, and Laura finally came back, saved the day.
It's gonna take a lot of time to scan through.
Well, and what's the record retention rules on that kind of stuff?
Well, we wouldn't get rid of the permanent paper.
Well, then,
But we would be able-
have to keep them.
We wouldn't have to get rid of them.
You're going back that far, if we don't have to keep some stuff, it gets a point, how long do you keep data?
Where's the data stored?
It's in the cloud, and we can have links on our website.
Held by the,
So,
held, it's their cloud storage. So we pay a subscription yearly for the data?
Yes.
Just can you download out of the cloud? Or is it only for internal?
no, anybody could go on and like, let's say you're sitting at home, like they did back in council the day I was born.
you know,
You could pull it up and see what was going on.
that might be
They
something.
they account me on my actual birthday.
My fear with that kind of stuff, especially with important data, record keeping, is they then pretty much own you, and in the future, they can continue to just ask more and more and more and more for the data storage, and you have no choice but to pay.
That's what I was gonna, I'll note that too, cause it's nice to have it, but then you hit a point too where you have so much out there. And it usually becomes cheaper, so the more you have out there, the more you get charged. Then it becomes on how valuable is the data from a council meeting from Blackmore. Like outside of historical society and stuff like that, they can pull it off, download it, and keep it themselves. But at what point do we want to remove that? It also becomes a liability issue too. You have to kind of look back, even the bank level where it's 7 years, so that you can't go back too much further. For liability's sake too, it's just it's wiped off.
Well, for us, our public record, there is no deletion schedule, gotta keep it. Maybe we look at a system where we scan ourselves, just cover our database.
Cause how much is it? Then what was that? Cause I didn't see that. Where's that? Oh,
7,000.
that's per year? Or
No.
they'll scan it all in and then.
Right.
Yep. Yeah,
I-
come in. Oh, that's fine.
And there were like several different tiers. And for the budget, we put the most expensive tier, and that does.
Sure. And it takes a lot to get in and stuff too, so it's a change, so I get it, that's where that comes in.
So I'm hearing on that then, flagpole's fine, laserfish is fine, pull out half of the.
Oh, and I'd take out RSVP at 6,000 too. I don't know if we want that, but furniture or something.
I apologize, I just missed what you guys said, pull out, would you repeat that?
I would remove the 6,000 for furniture and blinds stuff in RSVP as well. That's a $6,000 line item.
So you said just that midwinter and half for the training, the rest of it would be.
Remove it,
Take out
RSVP.
20. Right.
And earlier you said to remove the personal manual, is that what you guys said? That's what you said.
Budget it, but we'll talk about it.
Oh, I thought they said remove it.
Well,
I thought they did too.
I think we can remove it, and when we're going through our depth in November, we'll see exactly what and we may be able to look at some of this stuff too, get some notes on it. Might be able to get a little cheap on
I'm not about stealing somebody else's.
I'm not either.
Wanna go to airport?
You guys talk about council laptops, you had a question mark.
That was my tip.
No, okay. I've missed that one. I just wanted to take the note off.
I really don't think I'd use a council laptop.
I use my own, I know, Jane needs some here, but I know Kevin uses one, but I think having one or two extras and portable, but having everybody have one. I think it depends on the council too.
My desire to have a council laptop is if somebody, whoever got opposed, see records, and they take a personal laptop. They're gonna go through everything.
Well, it depends, because if you're not using it for retention, email, it's just to pull up the website, which is public record. then they should have no right to it.
But, you know, your email, the one to look at. I've had a lot of depositions and you might have a business life and they always ask me, you know, what's on your phone? What's your personal computer? Do you work on it? Yeah. Find it outdated.
A good point.
Ready for airport? Bring it on. Alright, not really much here, I think, to point out, you do see some hours that cemetery allocated to the airport, street goes out there and sweeps.
That's what the cemetery is too.
They mow, street sweeps. We sweep the plot off 2/6 before. We've got issues with the fuel farm, we've been fighting with the fuel, with a service company. We haven't been able to sell avgas since May. Now I'm finding out that our fuel system, the avgas system might need to be replaced. I don't have a number on that, I think we have enough in maybe repairs, I've got 3,000 in there for the fuel farm. The sign, I budgeted for the sign last year. I found out it was more than 1,500, so we doubled that. We can get it down to about $2,800, so 3,000 for the sign. The sign looks horrible. Crack and joint sealing, that's 25,000. We didn't get that done last year because the guy who does that didn't come out here. As I mentioned to Jeremy, I found Jeremy when we were at the airport last Tuesday. He's having trouble keeping up. That is for conversations with Councilman Holstein on that. That crack and joint sealing is primarily for the tarmac. We did do some crack and joint sealing on 1331 last year for the major crack. I probably wouldn't do it at crack sealing on 826, which is the one that's been just repaired that we're going to replace. If we needed to, we could kick that off another year. Just know that that's just get you 50,000 linear feet behind for next year. I think it's about 50 cents a linear foot. What that pays. The other thing to note
would it would be double then next year's amount?
Well, it just puts us 50,000 linear feet on time.
You'd be able to take that off and put that 25,000 towards fuel repairs?
If needed.
I think we have an opportunity to sell some fuel with the stuff coming into the casino.
You know, we've missed out on a lot. I've got one pilot station out there that just told me that we have lost 1,000 gallons of his business, so that's $4,000 worth of fuel sale. Just from one person.
And I know there's people that aren't stopping because of the.
We can sell Jet A, so we didn't miss out on a lot. But it just makes us look to be out of business selling avgas. And my last email to the company is either tell me you can't fix it, close out our bill, or I can move on. There's a guy out of Denver that'd be starting over, but he said he's worked on systems like ours before. He says he can get it fixed. The other big ticket item is number from Olson Associates on the runway construction. That's the engineering cost to incur this year. We wouldn't anticipate starting the actual construction cost. There has been a request to start over on a 6,000 foot runway, I've talked that through with our engineering folks, but I've also mentioned that with Jeremy, Division of Aeronautics. He met him last week.
Yep.
They both say don't stop. There's been some things that we've been able to negotiate to get our costs down from 13 million to $8 million on the project. I really hate to interrupt.
We have no source of,
Who's to say that they would approve a $6? We'd have to close the county road, we'd have to get some additional accident protection zone right away.
we do have federal revenue.
Yes.
And how sure are we on that?
On the engineering?
On
the revenue.
the 346.7, the runway construction revenue federal grant for.
That will come in and pay for the engineering.
But we're sure we're getting it.
Yes.
Alright.
It's been approved.
Not as bad with that in there. All things equal. Is how many years, because we took federal dollars a zillion years ago, how long does it have to stay at federal airport?
Takes 20 years to deobligate. So we would have to go 20 years without it taking any FAA money to defederalize. So if you did 826, everything looked good, take any money for 20 years, you could be like Goldberg and host drag races.
But if we stopped that early, we would be liable for everything at 20 years.
It would become all ours.
Especially with a decommission.
I think Ogallala is big enough. I don't know that Nebraska, and I've raised this question. I don't know that we need 78 general aviation airports, but I think Ogallala needs to be one. Yeah, that remains. So, yeah, if we're looking to make cuts, that crack seal, you just put you 50,000 in your foot behind. Another 50,000.
I'm kind of with Dustin. I think it's gonna fuel farm.
Yeah.
Well, and we have somebody that keeps saying we're gonna fix it. First it was a gear, and then it was electronics board, and then it was an O-ring, now it's a valve.
How old is this?
Probably 30 to 40 years. It's time. It's time.
Are we looking at replacing the whole system? The tank, should be okay.
The tank is fine.
It's got a bladder. I understand there's a bladder in the tank. You gotta go out, you gotta stir it. It's somewhat automated, but I remember Ken Knickle used to go out and have to stir it in the different.
We're losing about a gallon, a little less than a gallon and a half a day.
And if it was being used, we would use it.
If we could repair the pump is fine. But it's the measuring needs to be replaced. I think if we replace the whole fuel pump, that would be we'd go after FAA. If we replace it, could we go after FAA? No, I don't know what the threshold is. If we get it fixed, it might be for no more than 1 month, it might be fine for 5 years.
Kind of sounds like we need to go to a different company.
We didn't need to go to a different company, but I want them to close out our bill before I open up another bill. Now who's working? And that's where I'm at right now. I'm waiting on a response from them. I said, can you fix it? If you cannot fix it, I need to know or I'm moving. And I will give them one more follow-up. But then we're starting over with another company.
Did you follow up with the governor's pilot that said he could get it?
That wasn't actually the governor's pilot, that was one of our hangar renters that used to fly for the government.
Oh, okay.
Then I misunderstood that when I talked. But he did call Midwest Patrol.
Didn't get anywhere.
He got a little bit of a run. But he used to be the FBO in Hastings, so he knows this stuff. Kevin's neighbor works for him. He's the guy that fixed it first one. Well, he got it going for a couple months. Somebody's got it.
Right, person.
So that's the airport.
Moving forward.
On to community development.
The one to look at right off the bat is, so with WRG, what do we usually pay for cleanup with?
For the cleanup,
Yeah, like we have them come out and do a special cleanup or whatever we do. with
we
it.
just reimburse them for the tickets. We don't pay them anything.
What's our normal reimbursement that we pay? Because you happen to know what that is, just general.
Our normal cost on a cleanup campaign is anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000.
And that's not even included in here, well, that's one budget for.
That's something under, that's in Brandon's department under,
Okay.
citizens development.
So this is
The one
also,
in May, we paid $5,300.
we do support the crew cleanups, we do support WRG. This one again was received after the deadline date. As well as Keep County Beautiful and the senior center. I mean, especially knowing how far in advance we send those letters and stuff out. Makes it really hard to do a lot of these requests when we have basically drop dead dates and nobody's meeting it. We have cut funding completely from places that didn't get their stuff in on time.
Jane, you get a lot better response to her request if we didn't fund
Well,
a year.
you know, especially in a year where we're looking at budget cuts, I mean, everybody out there knows there's funding issues. So to push it as far as all of these groups have, you know, I stress, I wonder how much money they truly need when they can put their stuff in 4+ months too. And there's plenty of time to put these requests together, to get them to the city level. And not just that, you know, if we're looking at all these community development requests, if we're in a position where we have to raise taxes or cut community development requests, I'd rather cut community development requests because the citizens of Ogallala already fund through the Big Give and individual donations with a lot of these organizations. And in a way, we're funding it again by the city, but it's again with taxpayers' dollars, so we're almost forcing taxpayers to continue to fund them again above and beyond their own giving. And it hits a certain point where a community votes what they want in their community for services also by their giving. So, and that's one of the big reasons we have the big give out. I know that won't be popular, but we're looking at cutting infrastructure items, looking at salary stuff or anything else, you know. I can't even begin to consider unless we have, you know, the community development stuff, starting to whittle that down or cutting it on there, especially if we're gonna increase tax asking across the board, but still quite a bit out there.
It would be my recommendation at that. Hold it till last year's funding, but you make an excellent point. If these letters go out saying, hey, we need your request by June 1st, we don't wanna be punitive about it, so we let things come in. It's all about one overall and how we wanna be supported. This, and if we're gonna cut someplace, this would be the first place.
Well, I do view community as very supportive through the big give, individual giving, donations that are received, food delivery to a lot of these. Just the amount of recycling too that's even taken up on the hill. There's a lot of things that are done already by the community for a lot of these different organizations. So then, are we, as a city, we're not separate, we're basically community funded through taxes. So are we double funding, we're force funding versus letting people make that decision themselves? And then two, I know last year we had made some big conversations in the year before that about we don't fund overhead, we don't fund operations, we fund projects. Because it allows too many things to happen. Like, where does that money go? Where does that impact actually occur in the community when it's paying somebody's wages? Or, it's harder to do when they can sit there and say, well, we're gonna put in park benches, great. You can point out 10 years down the road, here's what that money paid for. When it's overhead, that's gone. It's 2, 3, 4 months, it's out, it's gone. And that's what some of these requests are for, is overhead. So at what level do we want to fund overhead first? Second, at what level do you want to fund the overhead for companies if they're not going to be self-sufficient and self-sustaining? I think it's general idea, just thoughts.
I think you have a valid point. Hard to argue against it, and I think the only thing I would add to that is we keep getting told that from the top down, budget cut, budget cut, budget cut. How can we possibly sit there and just continue to hold the bag when we are faced with budget cuts? We're continually told watch your budget, make your cut, and become as self-sufficient as possible. And I think there comes a point where we have to have that really hard conversation with community development that they're gonna have to start looking at the same thing. Budget cuts come all the way from the top, all the way to the very bottom. Everybody's gonna have to become self. And then, to your point, I hadn't really thought about it from that perspective. How fair does it seem for us to go to the taxpayers and ask, increase the levy and the tax act, to then just take money and give it to community development that can't even file their paperwork on time? Or have their financials in order,
And this isn't the first year we've asked for financials, and
We've asked that for years.
this is more than 2 years now we've asked for financials, and every single group we had to ask for it again. That should be something we have to ask for. If I want money, I want it from the city, I'm darn well sure gonna be at that window asking, hey, what do you need, what do you need to buy? Is this everything? Because you're making big requests.
It spells it out in the letter.
Yeah.
I think Skip was the only one that had everything work, right?
Yeah, they didn't have financials, and they only provided. They didn't provide it here.
It, again, it being a statutorily required entity, I think that it needs to state funding that somehow, or should be going maybe through Key County Court.
Well, I've had a conversation with a few as well. It's are we shooting ourselves in the foot per se by, if we fund, then nobody else has to fund? So does it become a problem where with the city continually funding a lot of this stuff, then the community organizations that would typically fund it step away because they don't have to? So are we creating a self-reliance on the city asking, to where other groups are just like, well, now I don't have to help support these groups through volunteer hours, through, giving, through things like that? Or are we creating a bigger problem over time? Those kind of things.
You wanna go through line by line? We still don't have contract.
It's on the,
List.
in a nutshell, the contract with the Chamber of Commerce is $10,000 reimbursable for Sounds on the Square event. $17,500 for chamber council involvement in all chamber activities and management of Rendezvous Square. $5,000, $6,500 for fireworks, $7,500 for fireworks. I think that's it.
Yeah, and it's 6,000 and 1,500 for the smell or whatever.
Well, yeah, 6,000 for the fireworks, 1,500 for fundraising for the fireworks.
Right.
The fireworks is 7,500. Council involvement with the chamber and Rendezvous Square arrangement is 17,500, and then 17,000, 35,000.
What, that aggregate, what's the difference between?
Where we've been last year, you were $24,000 basically for chamber involvement and Sounds on the Square, plus another, what we have been spending, the budgeted amount was $7,500 on fireworks. We've actually been spending anywhere from 9 to 14.
So if you take their 24,000, let's just call it 8 fireworks, simple math, so it would be up to 32,000. What we have in the past. So what are we at now under this contract?
35.
35.
But with that 35,
We're capped, our exposure on fireworks is capped at that. We don't.
right, and we're also saving about $8,000 with the fireworks included to what we were pumping out.
And we're not nickel and diamond on Rendezvous Square.
So the Rendezvous Square, they're gonna maintain it.
They take care of all expenses less than $500 up to a $2,500 cap.
You know what, let's try it. See what it does, but then let's, again, add something, November, we need to sit down with them and talk.
It is a one-year contract too.
And really, I think that's where we get with a lot of these, is we can say, okay, what are you doing for us, and how much we're gonna pay?
I think we also need to make people aware, it's not, none of this is personal. This is, we don't have enough funding to fund the wishes of everything out there, including some of the things we have in our own budget.
It's not a referendum on the merits of the program.
Correct. And it's not to pick on the departments, it's not to pick on community development requests. All are valuable in their own way. We're just in a position this year that we have to make some hard decisions and they're not fun.
Well,
We
have to
are
lower our
just-
fees, all
Being good stewards of taxpayer dollars at the end of the day.
I mean, I think we just need to voice it, we are $1.2 million in the hole right now.
Everybody good at chamber
Yeah.
contract?
Add it to November.
Moving on, keep County beautiful. I will put out there, I don't want to fund it, so we have a better understanding of their finances.
I agree. I think is one that if we want to pay for specific cleanups that benefit portions of the community, that we can specifically attach a dollar item for a cleanup in, maybe look at that in the future. But to fund again overhead based on blue sky, I mean, here we are having budget conversations. They have financials information that could have been delivered at any time up to this point even. Plus it was late again. This isn't the first time this one's been late.
I don't have confidence in their management.
Their board directed, their director to get the city the financials. She assured the board she would, and she still has yet to
Yeah, furnish them.
That's an easy answer.
Yep.
Keith County Area Development.
We are in the third year, we're in the third year of a 5-year contract.
First should be. Bill, Castle, Crime Stoppers. Keith County Historical Society, 20,000, big ass. It's a good project, but you're at a, recommend like 5,000.
Seeing as it's a historic building in our community, I do think we need to at least get their, tie $5,000 to specifically the repair of the windows. And that's
Wasn't that $20,000 to replace all the?
correct, but, we can't, we're in the hole.
No, I was just,
So we at least get their project started, they did submit their paperwork on time. I would recommend 5.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Same here.
So, can I interrupt? So when we do the funding agreement for this budget we're approving, we want to tie it to those sorts of things, we say it was $5,000 for the repair.
And it
Just
needs to be
Replacement
tied
of
to
Yeah.
those windows.
we're gonna make that reimbursable upon invoice, they have to show correct.
Okay.
Of repair or replacement if they were.
And we kind of want to go that route going forward to Laughlin.
Keith County, yeah, my thoughts are, they have a good reserve. The intent of that organization was, they take a fee from their borrowers.
Currently, the money that they request from us is specifically for operational expense,
Yeah.
correct?
That's one thing I would like to consider, continue to see removed from these tasks. We shouldn't fund a company something.
No,
So you're saying nothing to keep?
I would say no. Keith County Senior Center Operations. This came in late. County Commissioner called me and asked me if they can still send it in. I said, get Kevin, it'll leave the council, but I didn't promise him when we want. Again, this is county operation.
Land it sits on is even county ground. We don't get the building if it's in, is that how it works? Probably.
County building.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in the building though and seen the people in there? There's a lot of city people in there. I agree with.
Like Bridge,
Which they pay.
but they're paid.
Yeah.
Paying a fee.
Yeah.
They're paying the tax. If we would do anything, I would make it open. Obviously, maybe 5,000. That's gonna take some discussion.
This would be maybe one of those straight out for like the bike pole, that'd be a $5,000 switch there. So
So you're saying pull the flagpole and give it to the seniors.
I wanna see you go up there on the rope like that guy did. It is 5,000.
They have been administration changes very recently, right? And my understanding is the new admin has really walked into putting that on fire.
And I,
So, a little bit of understanding.
yeah, and I talked to county commissioner about, a joint operation with Keith County Senior Center and RSVP. If that program is gonna disappear because of federal funding through AmeriCorps, maybe the senior center might be able to pick that up through, managing volunteers, just keep on this. I don't know what
calls in Hampshire, RSVP other than the application, using that. But, no, not anymore. It's just complicated.
I didn't help Joy at
I
all.
thought
with
you
that.
know, but I thought you did.
In the past I have. But I do the financial stuff for it, but actually writing, we talked about writing the grant. I did not write the grant this year.
Is how much it,
The continuation, so you had to take last year's grant. So you're saying 5,000, understand? You want to continue on something, is it?
Somewhere
That one, I think we're just, give them 5,000.
With the same old funding agreement they've always had. And we, they have to tell us what they spent last year's number.
That okay with everybody?
they are in the process of turning. Given the quality of last year's meals, like I said, the meals are a lot better. Incorporated.
This is gonna be a tough one, Skip.
Last year you did 3,500, year before that you did 6,000.
well, the continued need there, they keep increasing every year, and their funding at the federal, state level keeps going down. So I just have a hard time continuing to, we're either gonna have to continue to raise it, or that program's gonna slowly have to shrink. I hate to say that, but I think it's gonna be inevitable with the federal funding there, including the next year, the year after, the year after. And we ourselves can't fund all of the deficit. And it's gonna become a harder and harder thing every year with that until it has to. I hate to say.
It's a phenomenal program, but these tax cuts are coming down from the top and everybody's being told you need to be self-sufficient. We cannot be the ones holding the back.
I'd offer up $5,000.
And flat, yeah.
Tough year.
The same with the same type of agreement done in the past, nothing else different. Okay.
WRG. In my mind, these guys are rock stars. For a nonprofit, they get a lot done, a lot of stuff out of our landfill. But
Here's my problem, and I'm a big WRG fan, is I will say that there's been some office change, which I don't know how that's going to affect it this year. Talk to them directly about it. So it's hard to want to do the full amount when we don't even know what's gonna happen for the month, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. This is all for operations.
Their leadership transition on them.
Yes, and so that has me worried, if they're in transition now, they're not paying a person for 8 months. So, again, operational standpoint, we can support them through cleanups, through continue to push people to go to cycle. But at this point, do we want to fund it at that level, so we know what's going on, and also figure out what the federal and state funding is gonna do with that?
I would offer up to do the same $5,000, and that if we do special cleanup in the activity, we negotiated. And we could budget in there. Cleanup in-
You have this for the tipping, because I have a bunch right here. One before that was
That was all.
September 24. What?
That was the one, the one before
Was the one that says president. That was 2,000. We cut that short. Or did we like, because of misuse?
In 21, 22, we did 10, 22, 23, we did 15, 23, 24, we did 15. 24, 25, we did 15. Did you want to knock it down to
well, 5, but then have, I don't know, 5, 10,000 for specific events, cleanup events.
You could bump up the nuisance abatement by 10 to cover any contractual costs that we would have with the.
But, and here's the thing, I'm gonna get back to keep Key County beautiful. And their comments to the county commissioners, they said, we're a county organization, we do cleanup in the city. So,
WRG is a multi.
I think they had put out there for some of the bins and stuff, which I think that would fit into more of what we're looking for. Is, you know, funding for specific equipment, those maintenance of items. Reimbursed for up to that amount, but not operational.
hey, I'm open to any other offers, my opening bid was 5,000.
I'm on the water about this between Skip and WRG. They both provide phenomenal services. The Skip, I believe, they provide a more vital service to this community. And to sit there and give Skip the same amount of rate as WRG, I'd like to see us at least match last year's Skip. And WRG, they can write a bunch of recycling grants and
I'm okay at 7,500 still.
I mean, it's the same as last year, but with the casino coming in, there might be, casino or here, there could be some more domestic situations that they're gonna be, you know, more needed.
So you're saying about that, 75.
I'm fine with that.
We just have to be careful on anything we deal with, even casino come in, because we could be facing larger cuts federally and state even next year's cycle, which might even warrant bigger next year.
Well, and then there's also a good possibility that, you know, the casino's gonna make some more donations to our community. You know, and I believe Skip Earl would be right at the top of the list.
Yeah, I think. What you're saying, there's a chance.
I don't know, I kinda like what the schedule we've got going of 5,000 each. I mean, I would try to make the argument to WRG, you know, them two guys are sorting 2 million pounds of cardboard, that's impressive. So I think it's hard to really compare them specifically, and just keeping everybody kinda on the same schedule. Balance.
And I mean, it's gonna be felt everywhere. I mean, where everybody's filling their pocketbooks with grocery store, you know, gas prices just went up for natural gas, Black Hills Energy increased. So I think people understand there's gonna be cuts, and that's why they all came with an extra increase asks this year too. And we're in a position that we were in last year, and we were offering that amount. So it's like, if our ability to put out money is decreased, then all of those things that we're offering should come out.
Where are we at? 5 or 750, 7,500, 5 or 7,500, 7,500?
I'm okay with 5,000 for each, you know, and let's see what happens with WRG.
So we're going back to 5 on the sand bills?
I think 5 across the board.
So we're 5, 5, and 5.
Pretty simple. We're working with a lot of uncertainties. We're trying to, you know, get them by some. Here we are. But
And the key is consistent. We're keeping a placeholder in the book.
Yeah. You know, and if something opens up, something happens, special funding hits, we can always mid-year with excess funding, they can always come back mid-year for an additional
we
one-off
can do
request.
some keynote stuff.
Yeah. That's what I mean, just because we're saying, hey, right now, it's so uncertain with federal funding, doesn't mean it'll be this way in 6 months, so.
Okay, you got 10 minutes. Anybody got any questions on debt service agency or over here toward you? Austin, do you have questions on that?
Chairman, okay.
Yep, you're excused.
I may be back down. Thank you.
Mr. President, I'm hearing no remaining questions on items G through J. G through, general budget discussion.
Let's just go to general budget discussion quickly on this. What's our gap? What are we gonna try to?
Until we actually make a decision on what you want to do with the levy. So I can plug everything.
Or we can cover some of it from the regular meeting.
Yes, that's the reason we put that under the manager's report, is to give us a placeholder on the, to be here till midnight. I'll be sleeping.
11:15, that's about my.
I mean, I would say I have more comments, but just I'm reserved for regular meeting.
Yeah, I think we're a hell of a lot closer now than we were at 4:30. Anyway, let's, yes, we do. We have a motion by Council Biden, second by Council here to adjourn our special meeting.
Go ahead and vote. Nope, I got it. Just vote and I'll see it up here.
Vote.
4 yes, 1 absent.
I did confirm. Thank you. We're adjourned. We will convene our next meeting at 7.